Pac-Man Championship Edition took the classic Pac-Man formula and turned it into a very trippy and very fast-paced, fun experience back on last generation. But now there's a new one, Pac-Man Championship Edition 2, out for the PlayStation 4, adding some new features and still the trippy and extremely fun gameplay. But is this game as good as eating a Pac pellet, or is it worse than being swarmed by a horde of ghosts? Pac-Man Championship Edition is a very interesting twist on the classic Pac-Man formula. You're still playing as Pac-Man, eating pellets, munching on ghosts, but now there's a lot more ghosts, a lot more trippy colors and mazes, but still a lot of fun to be had. Pac-Man Championship Edition 2 is not your typical Pac-Man experience. If you're looking for the original classic arcade style, thankfully that is available on the PlayStation 4. Namco did some great arcade ports a few months ago. But in this version, instead of getting instantly defeated by a ghost, when you run into them, they'll kind of bump off of you a few bumps and they become aggravated. Once they're angry, they're then going to try to chase you down. If you run into one, you're going to end up losing a life. If you're playing on the extreme difficulty in Score Attack, though, one bump and the ghosts become mad. There's also little tiny ghosts all throughout that you can end up waking up once you go past them or bump into them, and they will then join the main ghost in a giant train. Once you make it to certain levels, you can get a power pellet and then of course munch on down the ghost trains in order to earn some big points and clear certain objectives. Unlike a lot of traditional Pac-Man games where your goal is to eat every single pellet on the screen, instead what you're doing is eating enough pellets to fill up a gauge at the bottom of the screen, which will then unlock the fruit or the power pellet depending upon what level you're on, in which case then it will appear, and once you eat it, you'll instantly be transferred and jumped to another maze and have to keep going. This makes the action always extremely fast-paced as you're really trying to eat as many pellets as you can, get that high score, and do so within the time limit. Pac-Man Championship Edition 2 is broken up into a couple of different game modes, with your main ones being the Score Attack and the Adventure modes. Before jumping into Score Attack, you do have to complete a tutorial mode first, but that mainly just introduces you to a lot of the new features from Championship Edition 1, including the ability to bomb jump, taking Pac-Man right back to the center of the maze so you can quickly grab items to get to the next version of the maze and continue munching pellets, as well as you have the ability to break around tight corners, and now sleeping ghosts will litter the maps as well, joining the other main ghosts to form giant ghost trains for you to, of course, eat and score lots of bonus points. Once you complete the tutorial, you can jump into Score Attack, which is broken up into 4 different modes that have 10 variations each, with each of the variations mostly being different styles of mazes that you'll be completing. Now the modes are a practice mode, pretty standard practice mode. You have a single train mode where there's only one possible giant ghost train that can form. You have classic style, which is 4 different ghosts potentially going at once with 4 different trains attached to them. And then there's also the extreme mode, which ghosts get angry quicker as well as you only have 1 life. Now each of these are 5 minutes long that you'll be trying to see how high of a score you'll be able to rack up during the course of your playing. Then there's the Adventure mode, which doesn't really have a story or anything like that, but is broken up into 6 different worlds that have 10 levels each and then a boss, so 11 total, and the main levels are objective based, where you'll be dropped into a certain type of maze and have to eat a certain number of fruit in order to complete that level. Sometimes it's very small with only 2, and of course they have bigger ones that have 7, 8, or 9 different fruit that you'll have to eat before you're able to complete that challenge, and each one has a different time limit that you have in order to complete the objective. The boss encounters are basically just extended versions of the other objective-based levels, except at the end of collecting enough of the fruit, you'll eat a power pellet and attack the boss. The entire time during these boss gauntlets, though, the boss is kind of floating in the background, obscuring your vision a little bit, which is a little bit distracting overall, but it's a nice little tiny addition, though it doesn't really do a whole lot for me. To unlock each boss level at the end of a world in the adventure mode, you'll have to earn enough stars to do so. Beating the levels and beating them on different difficulties will earn you different amounts of stars, though the only change for the difficulties is the amount of time that you have to complete the objective and beat the level, making the extreme difficulty extremely hard to be able to get under the window of time in order to get that 3-star rating. The game does feature a good amount of unlockables, with the Score Attack as well as the The game does feature a decent amount of unlockables. As you're going through Score Attack and completing each version of the Score Attack on each different style of mazes, you will unlock various different stuff, such as different color schemes for the mazes, backgrounds that are playing throughout the course of the levels, as well as you can actually change up the ghost. In fact, my favorite for sure is being able to unlock ghosts that look like either Galaga enemies or enemies from Dig Dug. Honestly, one of the things I like most about the game is just how fun and addictive it can be to earn a big amount of points and try to chomp down giant ghost trains. Just the entire effect of chomping through a ton of ghosts really quick and racking up points is very enjoyable, and it has a great EDM-based soundtrack to go along with everything. The music, if you like dance-based music, you're going to definitely enjoy the soundtrack, the Pac-Man Championship Edition too. It really kind of gets you in the mood, and I really liked how all the music kind of fit with the pulsing lights and the color schemes going on in the mazes. There are some changes in this version from Championship Edition 1, which some veterans may not necessarily like, but as you're unlocking variations, you unlock that classic style Championship Edition 1 Pac-Man, so you have to go through a little bit of tutorials and stuff, but don't let it turn you away too much, as it won't take you long to get to those other variations and modes that you liked from the original. With the addition of stuff like the unlockables and the adventure mode for what it is, even though it's kind of a little bit bare bones overall, it's still a bunch here for you to definitely sink your teeth into. There is no, unfortunately, multiplayer modes. They're not included here, and I think that would have added some really interesting and cool chaos. There is, of course, an online leaderboard so you can upload your score to see how you rank against others in the world and, of course, your friends. If you like Championship Edition 1, I see no reason why you won't like Championship Edition 2 once you get in, especially when you unlock all that variations. While playing through the game, I didn't run into any technical issues. Loading is relatively fast, as well as there was no slowdown or crashing of any sort. Pac-Man Championship Edition 2 is available on the PlayStation 4 for $12.99, and as long as you know what you're getting, and it's not like a big elaborate story mode or anything like that, it's mostly an arcadey style fun game, then you will probably end up enjoying your time with it, as I did. In the end, I'm going to be giving Pac-Man Championship Edition 2 a 7 out of 10. But anyway guys, that's going to wrap up this review. I'd like to thank you for watching, and of course I hope you enjoyed.